Hello, would like to talk about the workbook with you, which is this one. And then to start with, 5.1, and which of the following are the lateral events below a lateral hazard, or lateral hazards not below a lateral event? Indeed, if you are going to make a lot of damages, and then it will call it the lateral hazards, okay? But for example, if the volcano is just going to erupt in some very sparsely populated area or even lowland area, then it will become a lateral event. So accordingly, it is A, okay? And number two, which is talking about the lateral hazards, why it's caused by extreme events. And for number one, it is landslide, but and then also number three is the lateral hazards as well. Okay, I really don't have the picture because I forget to bring the hard copy of the workbook home. Sorry about that. But anyway, it is C. And then for the for this one, the lateral hazards X is earthquake, and then this is some of the area which is prone to lateral hazards, which is having a high risk of lateral hazards. Italy, Japan, Philippines, United States, Chile. Okay, they are mostly uneven, and then they are found in the both continent and in ocean. Mostly they are taking place in linear pattern. Okay, and you can see number one is Italy, number two is Japan, number three is Philippines, and then number four is United States, and then number five is Chile. Okay, so accordingly, we are having different kinds of lateral hazards, and then the global distribution of the lateral hazards is uneven, and then they are found in the continent and in the ocean. Mostly they are linear pattern. Okay, and how can we describe the relief of Hong Kong? The following, which of the following method is used to show the relief of the land on a map? Okay, coloring, we can use coloring to represent the map, which is about the looks, which is in the looks. And then for spot height, you may find that there's for the peak of the hill, there may be some meters indicating how tall is it. So it's spot height. Okay, contour line, which is just about this one. So you can see the line can represent the height. So accordingly, 1, 2, 3, both of them can represent the relief of the map. Okay, on the map. Okay, and then what is the approximate highest point in here? Okay, why is 55 below 50? It's because on top of 50 you're gonna have some area which is showing them they are even taller than 50, so it should be 55 instead of 50. Okay, and for number 3, the answer should be C. But why? Okay, first of all, you're gonna start with the 40m, 40m, 40m. Okay, which is talking about the vertical differences of the hill from 50 to 10, and then 50 minus 10, which is 40m, 40m. Okay, and then on top of them, you have measure x to y, which is around 3 cm in length. Okay, when we are going to times the 3 cm with here 100m, and then we are having 300m. Accordingly, 300m over 40m, the answer should be 7.5. So accordingly, the answer should be C. Okay, and then which of the following are the reliefs shown in the map? Okay, a hill definitely, but you cannot see the valley indeed. But how come you can see a convex slope? Convex slope is talking about the gentle gradient at the very beginning. Okay, from the peak to the lower area, then it is gentle, but it is becoming steeper and steeper while it is going in between 30 meters to 10 meters. So you can see it is a convex slope. Okay, convex slope is first of all steep. Convex slope first of all is gentle, and then finally is steep. So accordingly, 1 and 3. Okay, valley is virtually not existing. Okay, 1 and 3, boy. Okay, so for here, which of the following description about the cross section is correct? It says show a section of river, shows a location of river. True, because you can see the Z is directly pointing at the river. Okay, the vertical scale of the cross section is 1 to 500 m. Okay, 1 to 500 m. Okay, accordingly, it is wrong because right here you can see it is 1 cm to 100 m only. Okay, but not 1 to 500. Okay, so indeed it should be 1 to 10,000 indeed, but right now it's totally wrong as it is shown 1 to 500. The vertical exaggeration of the cross section is 2 times. It's true because 1 to 20,000 for the vertical, for the map, okay, for the horizontal, okay. How about vertical? Is here, okay, 1 to 1 to 10,000. So accordingly, it should be 2 times. So 1 and 3, boy. Okay, 1 and 3, boy. Which of the following conventional signs represent the features shown in the figure 4? I think this is a circle pillar with right and back color, isn't it? So accordingly, this is a C, okay, trigonometrical station, okay. So a line graph showing the shape and the height of the land is called a cross section. Vertical interval is talking about the difference between 2 consecutive contour lines, okay, in between, okay. Concave slope, as I have said before, convex slope at the very beginning, gentle, and then finally is steep. Then how about concave? Concave is talking about at the very beginning is steep, and then finally it is gentle. Okay, vertical exaggeration is the ratio between the vertical scale and the horizontal scale. Okay, and I did talk about this in this map before. This exercise. Okay, and then let's see. Okay, for different features. Oh, as I said before, one more time, concave slope at the very beginning is steep. It is steep. You can see the slope is packed, okay, but finally it's widely spaced. So accordingly, it is concave slope. Okay, convex slope at the very beginning is gentle, and then finally is steep. So accordingly, this one will be convex. Okay, and then number 3, steep slope lah. Where's the steep slope? Where can we find a steep slope? Number C. Okay, you can see the angle, not the angle, the spacing between the contour line is very packed. How about the D, gentle slope? Gentle slope, it will be widely spaced. Okay, how about cliff? This one, okay, which is very packed. And then what is spur? Spur, this one, okay, which is concave in terms of contour line, but indeed it is a convex in terms of the relief. Okay, how about A? A, this one is fairly, okay, you can see it is concave in relief, but it is convex in the contour line. Okay, which there are several peaks right here. So accordingly, when we are talking about a mountain or a series of hills, peak joining together, then we will call it as ridge. Okay, and that. So accordingly, how can we find out the relief in here? Okay, in terms of cross section. First of all, as I have said before, at the very beginning, steep, and then finally, it is gentle. So it is F, okay? At the very beginning, steep, and then finally, it's gentle, okay? F, okay? And then convex slope. Convex slope at the very beginning, gentle, but finally, it is steep, so E, okay? This one, relatively gentle and quite even for the gradient, so accordingly, it's dot, gentle slope, okay? And then this one, wow, very steep, okay? Then it should be C. Oh, several peaks joining together. It should be G, okay? Legs. What is the interval, vertical interval of a map? 50 m, 50 m. And then, how to draw a cross section? And you can see right here, and then you can mark from here. Start with, because A is in 250, isn't it? Or 200. okay, and then joining the 9 together, and then 250, 300, 350, 400, so on and so forth. So accordingly, you are going to draw a similar thing like this. Okay, remember to draw A and B. Okay, and also the height, specify the height. Okay, vertical exaggeration is similar to the one that I have just showed you. Okay, because the 9 differences, the horizontal difference right here, it is 1 to 20,000, but for the cross section, it's 1 to 10,000. So accordingly, it is 2 times. Okay, because it is about 1 to 10,000 divided by 1 to 20,000. So accordingly, it is 2 times. Okay, why do we need exaggeration? Because you can show the feature, show the relief of the, and then the variation of the height clearly. Okay, so complete the table below lah, and then MN, it is the highest and the lowest. I think you can handle it. Vertical distance, it is going to find out the gradient, horizontal distance. Okay, and then finally we can make up the gradient. Okay, so why this one is 1 to 4.1 is because 1220 over 300, so 1 to 4.1. Okay, how about this one? 960 over 150, so accordingly 9.4. Okay, so M and N is steeper because the gradient is 1 to 4.1, which is larger than the gradient of slope P and Q. Okay, peak A, B, and C, Lantau Peak lah, Timosana and Nine Rock, and then offshore island, D is Changzhou, okay, E is Qingyi, and FN is Lantau Island, Laimao Island, sorry. Okay, and then so accordingly, in general, how do we describe the relief of Hong Kong? The relief of Hong Kong is generally hilly, and then lateral lowland is limited, and then the coastline of Hong Kong is long and then irregular. There's a lot of offshore island like Lantau Island. Okay, the largest piece of lateral lowland is found in the northwest of the New Territories, which is Yunnan Plain. There is also lowland on the 2 sides of the Victoria Harbour, such as Central District, and New Town, such as Zhangguanou. This kind of lowland was obtained by reclamation. Okay, and then which of the following factors affect the stability of slope? Okay, friction, yes. Gradient, yes, because friction, which is talking about whether the slope is sleepy or not. Okay, if it's sleepy, then the friction is lower, and it's not sleepy and roughed, then the friction is higher. Okay, gradient, steeper gradient, stability of the slope lower. Weight of the slope materials, which is the highest slope stability, will the weight of the slope material will negatively correlated with the stability of slope. Okay, so all of them are correct. 1, 2, 3. Why are the landslides more common in summer of Hong Kong? Okay, a lot of rainstorm, true, because it's going to give a lot of water to the slope. Dense vegetation on the slope, which is we are going to having more vegetation, then it is indeed reducing landslide, because the tree roots can bind the soil, since you have learned from Form 2 indeed. Okay, plenty of farming activities on the slope. Okay, this one is not really related to it is summer or winter, because you have farming in summer, and also you are having farming in winter. So accordingly, number 3 is not correct as well, although it may related to landslide, but not really just happening in summer. So it is A. It's A. Which of the following description about the signal shown in Figure 1 are correct? It's issued by the Hong Kong Observatory, true, and then it's commonly issued when there's a heavy rainstorm. True, it alerts the people the flooding is expected. No, landslide is expected. So number 1 and 2 only. Which of the following have been used to strengthen the slope in Figure 2? Okay, you can see weep hole, which is a hole, and then concrete, which is a shotcrete, which is a concrete or cement, which is going to cover the slope and then reduce the infiltration of the water. And then, which of the following measures can help to reduce the risk of landslide? Strengthening slope, true, and then buying insurance. How come it can help to reduce the landslide? Okay, and then also developing a good monitoring and warning system. Okay, this one is also okay because we reduce the risk of the landslide only, which is not totally just stop the landslide, which is talking about reducing the harmfulness of the landslide. So number 1 and 3 is correct. Which of the following for the reduce the damage caused by the landslide in Hong Kong in recent years? Number 1, reduce the occurrence of rainstorm. True, false, because Hong Kong is always having rainstorm, just like the typhoon last week. We are having a lot of rainfall because of the typhoon. Development banned on all the slope. Okay, that's not true because we are having more and more slope open up. Okay, good maintenance of the man-made slope. This one is true because virtually every slope, artificial slope, are registered, and somehow it is asked to have certain kinds of measure to reduce the landslide. So number A is correct. Okay, so for here, rainstorm, which is talking about the shear strength and shear stress. What is shear strength? Which is talking about the force that is not allowing the landslide happen. Shear stress is talking about the force which is allowing the stress to happen. So rainstorm are both of them. How can it reduce the strength? Because it can reduce the rainstorm. And not reduce the rainstorm, sorry. Reduce the friction. So accordingly, the strength will be reduced, okay, because the friction is not strong. Okay, and then the shear stress will be increased because water will make it become more heavier. So accordingly, shear stress will be higher. Farming on the slope, the strength will be reduced because no matter what kind of thing you are going to farm, it must having a lower density vegetation than the natural vegetation. So accordingly, the tree roots cannot bind the soil in a proper way. So strength will reduce. Deforestation on the slope, which is more or less like with the farming, because it is going to reduce the tree roots that can bind the soil. Okay, slope with deeply weathered granite. Okay, granite is very weak and then it can be weathered easily. What is weathered? Which is talking about the large pieces of rock is broken into smaller pieces of rock. Okay, so accordingly, if we are having a granite slope and the weathering will taking place, okay, and then the strength will be weaker because the slope is full of weathered material and then which is not very cohesive. Okay, broken drainage channel on the slope, the strength will be reduced because we are having more water, fewer cohesion, fewer friction, more stress, which is having more rate. Okay, cutting into the slope, then building the road without a support measures. It is also enhancing the stressor because the slope is stronger. Okay, building drainage channel can reduce the water go into the slope, and then building the retaining wall can reinforce the slope structure. So now the structure will be stronger. Shotcrete, the structure will be stronger. Whip hole, reducing the water goes into the slope. Okay, then fill in the blanks again. Landslide, sudden and rapid movement of soil and rock. Okay, shear strength increase when the cohesion, which means they are stick together, stick, stick. Okay, and then the force of friction will increase. Granites make up many areas in Hong Kong. It's easily weathered in a hot and wet climate. Okay, remedial measures such as the well-trained rescue team can reduce further losses caused by the landslide. Okay, cut the slope for development. Without support measure, gradient will increase. And then this flow chart is quite important to develop into your essay or your DBQ. Okay, in the test, because it's talking about all the causes that make the landslide happening. Okay, so cutting of slope development, the gradient will increase. Okay, shear stress stronger, poor maintenance and heavy rainfall water will go into the soil, okay, and then the weight of the slope material will be stronger, force of friction reduced, and then cohesion of the slope material reduced. So accordingly, the strength will reduce and then the stress will enhance. Weathering of rock and then removal of vegetation for farming, okay, will also make the cohesion of the slope reduced, okay. And then finally, this one, okay. This one also I think is quite an important DBQ for you, okay? And you can see a lot of people die or hurt because of the landslide. So this one should be landslide, okay? Adverse impact made by the lateral hazard X, death and injuries, damaged house and car, fallen slope blocked the road and disrupted traffic, and also economic losses. Okay, I think you have learned this in previous Form 2 chapters as well, okay? And then this is the cause of natural hazards X, okay? Mainly the red granite on the slope that you can find here, okay? Made up of by the granite, okay? And then removing vegetation on the slope, you can see a lot of house is developed and then cut a lot of trees, okay? And then steep slope 1 to 2.8, heavy rainfall, so on and so forth. And then why the causes mentioned lead to the lateral hazard X, deeply weathered granite will and then the removing of the vegetation on the slope reduce the cohesion of the slope material. This reduce the shear strength, okay? The steep slope has greater shear stress because the gravity pull is stronger, okay? Rainwater reduce the cohesion and friction of the slope as it seep into the soil and rock. It reduces the shear strength, okay? Because we are having more water and then the soil will either becoming less sticky, okay, or becoming more sticky. Depends on the proportion of the water with the soil. But if there are too many rainfall, then the soil will be become less cohesive and then the landslide will occur, okay? Rainwater also add weight to the soil and then increase the shear stress. When the shear stress greater than the shear strength, lateral hazard X occur. So that's end for the workbook. Thank you.